Just today, we heard of an accident down in Liberty where a vehicle was hit while trying to get through a train crossing. Really pretty appropriate that we talk with Sheldon Lyon today from the St. Joseph Safety Council about Rail Safety Week. How are you?
Good, thanks for having me, Alan.
You know, between a train and a car, the train's going to win about every time, isn't it?
Yeah, people have to understand that they have to yield to the train. It's not that the train doesn't want to stop for them, but it's impossible. Trains are very large vehicles that weigh 16 million pounds or more loaded, and it actually takes a train up to or beyond a mile to stop.
Now, we did a story about 5 years ago together where it was an operation, what was it called?
It was Trooper on a Train. It was an operation with St. Joseph Police Department.
And we were on the train and watching the train go along as the lights go, and then how many cars would still try and zip across and beat the train?
Yeah, back when we did those operations, and one day we wrote 66 tickets for people that just would try to beat the train. And it's really a deadly game to play. And they have to understand that, like I said, the train cannot stop. And if the train hits you, it's about the same comparison as if a car rolls over a pop can. The weight difference is about the same.
Well, so you're not worried. I have destroyed the video from 5 years ago, so they haven't seen how much younger we both were back then. But it was shocking to see the amount of people that would still try and scoot in front of that train.
Yeah, it really is. And we have to remember that any time is train time. Just because we live near those tracks and we know those freight trains come through at a certain time, always take the time when they approach the crossbucks to stop, look both ways, listen, and then proceed across.
There are lots of different kinds of crossings. There are some with the gates that actually come down, some with just the lights, and so it's kind of hard. Sometimes they sneak up on you.
Yeah, state law requires motor vehicle to stop at a crossing where it's gated. If the gates are down, you cannot legally go around the gates. Plus, it's very dangerous. Also, if it's a crossing where there are just lights, when the red lights are activated, you're required to stop by state law. And it's for your own safety. You know, as motorists, we have our families with us. Our families depend on us. And so it's just a great way to be safe while you're out in your car.
Granted, some of these trains, especially those coal trains, go by rather slowly and they're very long. But boy, if that 3-4 minutes would be worth sitting right there instead of trying to maybe get very hurt.
Yeah, and one of the things about those trains that's very deceiving, since they are so large, they're very deceiving on how fast they're going. It's like when you go down to KCI and you see the jet and it looks like it's just hanging in the sky.
Right along.
It's the same thing. That object is so large that it's really deceptive on the actual speed that it's traveling. And that's why people misjudge trains when they try to beat them a lot of times, and it costs their lives.
And like you said at the beginning, the impacts are not pretty.
No, they're not. And so it's Operation Rail Safety Week. We want to get the message out to motorists to be aware around those crossings, to make sure they stop, yield for the train. If the gates come down, the lights are activated, you're required to stop. St. Joe's a quiet zone, so you won't hear the whistle or the horn in town. So make sure that we're aware around those and that we watch for those trains.
When we did this story 5 years ago, there was some information in there that Buchanan County was like the 4th worst county in the state for wrecks between vehicles and trains.
Yeah, certain years that's true.
Oh boy. All right, well thanks for joining us today. Good news to keep advice.